Turki Alashikh reveals his boxing plans for 2026. What an unbelievable year we've had of boxing. Genuinely some of the best fights I've ever seen. Some of the fights I've wanted to see for so long, like the Dimitri Bivol but Otabetabev, the Canelo Crawfords. We've got the Night of the Samurai coming up. We've got the Ring 4 coming up. That's literally this Saturday with David Benavidez against Anthony Yarde. You got so many good, big, huge boxing cards coming up. And on Saturday night, I was at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for Conor Ben Bank Jr. And again, two unbelievable fights there. And a good undercard that goes under the notice. Jack Cattrall, brilliant performance. And we'll do a video on him in the coming days. But Turki Alashikh has revealed his 2026 Matchroom boxing plans. So he has said this. First, February, Saudi Arabia, Anthony Joshua. Now, Anthony Joshua is going to be fighting Jake Paul on the 19th on December on Netflix. Okay. Barring some absolute disaster, Leicester City style, Anthony Joshua is going to wipe Jake Paul within a round or two. Cool. Let's just move on from that circus, because we want to know what the opinions are, and I've already done a video on it. But the February one is really interesting for me with Anthony Joshua. I sat when he came on the mic in the stadium, and I sat in my seat and thought, what is really the plan there? Because if you deep this, right, when Anthony Joshua fights in February, he's technically not had a competitive professional fight for like nearly 18 months then. Because let's be honest, we cannot count Jake Paul, for Christ's sakes. His last fight was against Daniel Dubois at Wembley. I think it was the 21st, 22nd of September. Right? When he fights in February, in around 18 months out of the ring. So it's going to be very interesting to see the competition he gets put with. It's going to be very interesting to see the competition he gets put with. Does he get put in with a top 15 or top 10? I think what's going to be very interestingly, and I think Eddie Hearn is definitely going to be watching Fabio Wardley in particular. Now, Fabio Wardley's been promoted to WBO World Heavyweight Champion. I actually think that's a really big winnable fight for Anthony Joshua. Yes, we know what the strengths are of Fabio Wardley, right? We know this. But I think that is a winnable fight. Now, I don't think he'll get put in with Fabio Wardley in February, to be honest. I think he's going to fight someone like Jerome Miller, and I think that could be a really good one. Someone that's going to give you rounds. It's going to make you tough. It's going to sell well commercially as well because of the history between Anthony Joshua and Jerome Miller. Obviously, was meant to fight back in June 2019. It seems like such a long time ago, and obviously we all know it went off, why that fight didn't happen. And obviously Andy Ruiz, rest is history. Right? Kind of mad at how that would have worked out if Anthony Joshua did actually fight Miller, because I actually think he would have beat Miller quite comfortably, if I'm being honest. I'm not one of these people that rate Miller to so high standards. And obviously his last fight, to be fair, was, I think, against Andy Ruiz. Obviously he was meant to fight a couple of times in between that, obviously pulled out due to reasons and stuff. Obviously he was meant to fight Fabio Wardley at Ipswich. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. I think Jerome Miller could be an interesting one because we've seen pictures of Eddie Hearn and Miller get close. Number 2, London-Manchester big fight. Now, he did mention Spurs. That's going to be interesting again. Again, that's probably going to be one of the British fighters. Maybe that's Moses Atoma. Again, possibly fighting Fabio Wardley. That's going to be interesting because they both have the same training, Ben Davison. They're both promoted by Frank Warren. So again, that's going to be an interesting one. I think that could be a ones to watch. And it gives Moses Atoma, that chance to do a stadium fight or something like that. I don't know if they'll throw him in the deep end just yet with Fabio Wardley for a championship. I think it'd be more towards the back end of 2026 for him. But very intrigued to see what Turkey's got planned for the London-Manchester fight card. And then he then revealed in September London one of the great nights in the history of boxing. We all know what that's going to be. It's going to be Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. But I've got a theory as to what's going to happen with Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. I've got a theory on what's going to happen. If Tyson Fury stays retired till then, I think Anthony Joshua will fight for a world title then, all being he gets through the February card, right? Whoever that is. Whether that is against a Fabio Wardley, whoever is the champion, then depends if the belts gets released by Alexander Usyk. But I've got a feeling, and I've said this for a while, I think Tyson Fury is going to fight Alexander Usyk for a trilogy. Do you remember a couple of months ago when Tyson Fury said on his Instagram, Usyk, Wembley, 26th of April next year, I think it was the date. Obviously, that's not been confirmed now. But I've got a feeling we've seen it with Usyk when he's released the belts, so he can go and do that Tyson Fury rematch. Remember when obviously Dubois became champion, so he can go and do the rematch with Tyson. I've got a feeling Tyson Fury and Usyk, keep an eye out for that one. Again, if it's a big fight, London, Manchester, we've seen Tyson Fury spoke about, a fight at Old Trafford. We know Alexander Usyk doesn't mind going to people's backyards. I mean, he's done it for so many years now. At cruiserweight and at heavyweight, doesn't make no difference, Old Trafford or Wembley. But if that fight's not made, I suspect it probably will be a big Fabio Wardley defense, possibly in Manchester or in London, maybe at Tottenham, or for example, whoever is going to fight him there. I think you're going to see something like that. And then I do think London in September, it will be Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury, all being everything goes to plan like Turki Alashikh plans to. If not, I do think it will be Anthony Joshua that will fight for a world title. And again, whoever the champions will be at that current state of mind. But man, what a goat Turki Alashikh is, man. Already making plans with Matchrooms. I want to see what his plans are with Queensbury, because I'm very excited for the plans with him as well. By the way, is it just me? I've not seen much. How do I explain this? Stuff between Queensbury and Frank Warren and Turki Alashikh recently. I find that very interesting. Might do a video on that. Yeah, but we know Turki, is proper bum buddies, especially Eddie Hearn is proper bum buddies with Turki. But there are already three events that Turki Alashikh is looking to put on. Never forget all the little ones that might come as a surprise. Like for me, from a boxing fan's perspective, 2025 in my lifetime, right, you have to think of this, is genuinely one of the best. I think it's really close between 2024 in terms of the fight cards that we've had. I'm thinking when they get to the end of the year, I'm going to do my top 10, where I rank my top 10 fight cards this year. Because obviously we've still got the Night of the Samurai to go, the Ring 4 to go this weekend. So we've still got two more big, events that's hosted by Turki Alashikh to go this year. So I'm very intrigued and excited for those. But they are the plans for boxing in 2026 with Matchroom coming from Turki Alashikh. Obviously did confirm that at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium on Saturday night. It'll be very interesting to see if those plans do come to light. And we never know in boxing, anything can very much happen. But yeah, smash a like, subscribe, and I'll see you all very soon in the next video.